It's like 120 new shows this season.
How many are isekais?
119.
Yeah.
Well, hello, and welcome back to Gateway to Anime. How are you all? What's going on? Charlie, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Excited to talk about this new season. There's a couple of random ones in there.
There are some strange ones. Gray, how are you feeling about the season so far?
Yeah. There's some bangers in there, don't get me wrong, but the sheer amount of mid-anime this year is disturbing, tiring.
Fair amount of mid, do you think?
There's a lot of mid, but there's so much.
There is a lot. It's
like 120 new shows this season.
Yeah, it's silly.
Ridiculous. So.
It is silly.
How many are isekais?
119.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can't even bring myself to watch an isekai this season. I usually have a token one, and this time I went, nah.
Not doing it.
Nah,
not doing
making a stand. It's really going to make a difference, I think. Finally, the anime world will listen to me.
That's it, finally.
Like, she's not watching one? What?
Charlotte's not watching one?
Oh, my God, we've made a terrible mistake.
We've gone too far. No, of course, we're going to do one of our season roundups, and of course, it is early-ish in the season, so at the time of recording this podcast, it's been about 3 episodes of most. Some very few have had their 4th, but mostly 3, so we're about a third of the way through the season. This brand new year and brand new season of anime, winter 2023. So I guess, Gray, what have you started watching with, man?
Revenger is a new thing that's came out.
Is new, yeah.
Can you explain to me? It's not Tokyo Revengers.
No.
That's also out.
No.
Okay.
It is Oldie World Feudal Revengers.
It is Samurai.
Cool.
Yeah. It's made by, I'm going to try and say this, Ajaya Do Animation Works.
Oh, that's a tough one.
The only thing I know that they made was that Kimono o Jihen.
Yeah. That was actually
The little-
underrated show.
I think he was like Zombie Boy
Correct.
doing
The
Zombie Boy
paranormal thing,
things. It's an anime original. And for some reason, it's only available in Australia and Crunchyroll dubbed,
Oh, really?
which is the first time I've watched a dubbed anime in
I watched
a
it
while.
subbed.
But on Crunchyroll?
Yeah.
Or did you watch on High Dive?
No, Crunchyroll.
Right. There's something going wrong with my subscription. I'm going to have to get in touch with the higher ups.
I found the Crunchyroll app sometimes will just give me the Spanish dub.
Yeah.
And then you have to go back to other seasons and you're like, what? Like, it's a beautiful design.
To be fair, the Spanish
Crunchyroll sponsor me.
We love you, Crunchyroll.
We love you so
the
much.
Spanish version of Dragon Ball Z is fire.
How is the dub though?
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's bad. It's you spend your life listening to and subbed anime. Like
Yeah.
you just get used to a cadence and a certain vocal style, and then it's just American.
Yeah.
It's not good.
What's Avenger about, Gray?
It's about revenge, Sam.
Funny that.
It's about revenge. So you follow the exploits of a samurai assassin, I guess you would say he was, called Raizo Kuruma, who's super loyal to his, I don't know what you would say, it's like a daimyo. Is that the right one?
Yep.
And he's tasked with killing his fiance's father, who supposedly is involved in the opium trade.
Yes. Brought shame upon them.
Dishonorable, blah, 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 blah. Super loyal, doesn't really think much about it, just very honor and duty, blah, blah, blah. Kills him, murks him.
In the first 20 seconds.
Yeah, literally. But then he's betrayed, also in the first 20 seconds.
It is. A lot happens very fast.
Yeah. So it's about, the first episode is basically about him getting his revenge.
Yes.
And spoilers, he gets his revenge. So I was like, wow, this is the shortest anime series of all time.
Yes, but it's the group of people who help him obtain said revenge.
Yeah, so he
It's the
seems-
following.
It's the friends we made along the way. It's not the revenge.
So yeah, he meets up with a band of, I don't know, what do you call it, air taskers?
Feudal air taskers.
Yeah, feudal air taskers. $5 and we'll kill the daimyo. He sort of uses them. They have a plot to kill the daimyo and stuff like that. So it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot happens in that first episode.
A lot.
The animation's pretty good.
It's pretty good, actually, yeah.
I think character design is pretty good as well.
I like it.
It's an anime original.
Yeah, it is.
So it can be 50-50 with those.
It's true. It's actually written by Gen Urobuchi, who wrote Psycho Pass and Madoka Magica.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So pretty legit. Also Fed Zero. Yeah. So he's like, that's what got me to watch it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, ooh, I love his stuff, right? And it's original. He can do whatever he wants. There's no source material like Psycho Pass and Madoka Magica. They're both completely fresh.
Madoka
and new, right?
original.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah. So that's what's really cool about it. And yeah, for me, it's like it's sort of my like guilty pleasure this season. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like Rurouni Kenshin meets Akame ga Kill meets Ninja Scroll. It's all of those things kind of at once. You know what I mean? It's like the group of the Air Taskers all do different things. Like there's a chick who's got like.
I don't think that's their official name.
It is now, right?
Okay.
It's the Revenger Air Taskers. One of them has like a kite, which she flies.
Oh, that was brutal.
That was savage. Like, and she's like, she tricks this dude, and but the kite is made of like the string is made of wire.
She hangs one of the guards. Somehow he gets tangled up in the kite string.
Yeah, and then she lets the kite go.
It's like that fish wire, metal fish wire.
Yeah,
and she lets the kite go
savage.
and it kills the guy.
Yeah,
which I don't think would work.
One of the more savage.
Surely there was an easier way to go about it.
100%.
But was it that
She'd
cool?
have to weave the kite string through the room as well.
Wow.
Like this guy had to just walk into it. Like
I want to go watch her setting that up meticulously.
Prep.
Like also she snuck into that place as well.
and then released the kite.
So much prep work.
What's wrong with a knife?
Just poison someone. That's the way to do it.
But she also knocked out a guard as well, bound him up as bait as well.
Oh yeah,
for the kite trap.
Yeah, it was a lot of work.
This Tom and Jerry kite trap.
It's very strange. But yeah, so all of them have different powers. There's a doctor who's like a super bow and arrow user who's like, super strong and can like fire like a bow and arrow, like 5Ks. It's all that dumb sort of Akame ga Kill sort of thing. Like everyone, the main guy is like, he has like a gold
gold
kite.
killer.
Gold kite.
They all have
he
different
kills
kites.
someone with gold leaf.
He has gold leaf, and he like makes
was
meticulous
extra.
things with gold leaf. And then he just goes like
he has like a sheet. He does this weird sort of dance, and he's got like that gold leaf stuff used to paint food.
Yeah.
Like that thing. He has one of them, and he just sort of like brushes it across this guy's face,
and he died,
and he chokes to death on the gold leaf.
Gold leaf. It's like
fancy.
It's so extra.
And then he like does this prayer.
You know what?
Has this big.
I like the show.
Honestly, I am in. This is so extra.
I actually kind of love it.
This is making me want to go and watch it immediately. This is exactly what anime should be.
Honestly,
just so ridiculous.
It's so stupid.
You want a kite death? You got it.
You want a kite death with gold leaf death? You got it all, baby.
We got it.
Genya Urobuchi's a genius, man. Now look, I really quite like it. Like again, it's my dumb kind of like I always like a dumb anime show where I'm like, give me cool powers, give me samurai. Give me people doing, it's all, you're always after some horrible person too, because it's like what happens is the person who wants the revenge gives this group a gold coin and they're going to bite into it. It's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know why, but that's
the
what
show
they
is
do.
wild. I'm into it.
It's wild. And then like they receive that and they're like, well, your revenge shall be undertaken. And then they go off and they're run by the church as well. That's a whole thing.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing going on.
He has a side Etsy business where he paints flower pots.
And flower pots because you can't be just revenging all day.
No, you can't.
Obviously,
You can't be planning elaborate kite traps all day.
Not all day.
The side hustles here, the Etsy, the Air Taskers, everything.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. That is a side hustle in and of itself.
Good on him.
They should call this show Air Tasker. I think it's great. All right. Charlie, what are you watching?
All right, so we're going to talk about Trigun Stampede.
Controversial.
Controversy,
it
people.
is. So for those of you who haven't had the pleasure of discovering Trigun, like I did way back in the bloody day, Trigun is a space western.
Yep.
We love a space western.
Check out our video on YouTube, by the way.
It's a good space western video. But it's about someone called Vash Stampede who has a bounty on his head. Big bounty. It's like $6 million, I think, from memory. And you just kind of follow him. It's similar to, I don't know if anyone's seen Kenshin. There's kind of like the idea of like someone having this reputation that precedes him, but actually he doesn't like combat. He doesn't like to fight anyone. He doesn't like it. But he causes havoc wherever he goes. He's like a lovable goofball. I described that really terribly. But anyway, give it a watch. It's very fun. It's good.
90s animation. Very cool. Very stylish.
Yeah. Great soundtrack. Great. Like it's cool characters and everything. So recently they just announced they were going to reboot it. It's kind of like a reimagining of the story. So it is got elements of the original series, and there's also a manga it's based off, and it's got elements of that. Obviously, it's the same story, but they've taken some liberties and they've changed it a bit, and it's become a little bit controversial. The main controversy with anime fans always is that there's really obvious CG in this one, so it looks CG. Like it's not.
It is CG. It's 100% CG.
Yeah.
They're not trying to hide the fact. Usually in anime, they hide that. I mean, all anime is CG in it, like all of it.
Elements, yeah.
But this one, they've kind of just gone, fuck it, we're doing it. We're doing it. And it's funny because that kind of animation has worked really well in Western stuff. Like people love Arcane, people love that kind of thing, and that's all fine. But I think when they decided to do it with a beloved anime like Trigun, which everyone wanted a remake of anyway, people were yelling for it. I think people were worried it was going to turn out like Berserk did.
Yeah.
And I'll say the studio that have animated it, Studio Orange is their name. They're like probably the ones that anime fans have been the most pro because they did a show called Land of Lustrous, which everyone liked. It's like the only CG show that anime fans liked.
Yes.
Really
the one
good.
with all the crystal
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
That
yeah.
did look great.
And it was cool. Like, and I think people were like, yeah, fuck yeah. But I just think it was a dangerous decision. Dangerous, sorry. So dangerous.
So dangerous.
So dangerous, like kites.
Kite dangerous.
They made
Gold
a
leaf.
kite gold leaf decision with this one. But I think I'll say I don't mind the animation. When I saw the trailer, I betrayed myself because I went, oh no. I went, ooh, why do they look like that? Like, no. And I had a reaction and then I went, no, I got to get with the times. Come on. Blah, blah, blah. So I watched it.
Get down with all these young kids in their 3D animation films.
Yeah.
Toy Story came out in 1994.
I watched it and I was just like, okay. Animation actually looks pretty good.
I think it looks
There's
sick.
some beautiful shots, like when he shoots.
Yeah, the bullets and stuff. Yeah,
amazing.
Like
his movement is very good as well.
It's great.
It's great.
Really well animated. So the animation I don't have an issue with, which is a shock. I know. I
think there's a few facial things that are a bit lacking, especially when they see them as young kids.
That was
like
that whole opening scene.
It is creepy, and it was supposed to be creepy.
Berserk again, like.
But I think for the majority of it, it looks pretty good.
It was good.
Yeah,
there's a lot but they've made a lot of narrative decisions as well. So obviously, like we said, it's based off a manga. And then there's also what happened in the first series back in the 90s is that they caught up to the manga very quickly. So they diverged off, as they often did back then, and made their own ending, right? So again, a lot of people hoping for Trigun Brotherhood, as we always say, where they came back and, do an honorable
Fruits Basket.
Fruits Basket, look at, to remake the show as it is written in the manga, right? Now, they're kind of doing that, but they're also making some weird, again, I'm not a manga reader, but I'm obviously across all the forums because I'm always, the controversies fascinating, to watch that fan theory episode that we've done, like the expectation theory, the idea that when your expectation is not met, it creates quite a reaction, and I think you're right, is that a lot of people were like, yes, we're finally getting like the brotherhood treatment for Trigun, but we aren't getting that. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's garbage, you know what I mean? But like,
no, it's good, and it's like Vash looks cool, he looks hot. That's all I care about.
It does, yeah.
I went, ooh, Vash, hello.
Damn, glow up.
Vash Stampede. Wow. My biggest issue is they have managed to get rid of one of the best characters from the original. Now, I'm not saying she won't show up later. She might. But it appears that she's been replaced by an old grizzly man.
Yeah.
And I went, okay, weird.
Yeah.
But sure.
That is a big part of it because in the original, it's two insurance agents basically go out because Vash Stampede, obviously, chaos wherever he goes, right? And they're after him from the insurance perspective because he just ruins everything, and that's kind of the humor. They follow him along. They've changed it now to one of those characters and an old grizzled sort of.
And she's a journalist now.
They're both journalists, so they're trying to chase the story of Vash Stampede. It's kind of similar, but like
the insurance broker thing was hilarious.
Made way more sense,
and it was really funny.
It was actually really
funny. They were like,
yeah.
"Oh my god!" Like
he's breaking. Every town he goes into gets destroyed. Like
Yeah.
So that's a big. There's not only a change in the animation. There are quite a few narrative changes too, which quite a few people are upset about. So it's very interesting. I think I've only watched three episodes which have come out. Yep. And look, I'm enjoying it. I don't love it, I must say. I'm not like, and I love the original, but it did take me a while to get into the original too, in fairness. So I think like, let's just give it time, give it space, see how it goes. But like, I don't know, it's fascinating to track these things because you're right. CG is like the dirtiest word in the anime community, particularly in the West. I'm not sure what Japan thinks about it. But it just feels like it just triggers so many people. The second they see that CG, the way it moves, they just get hysterical.
I think people don't expect Trigun to be as like bawdy comedy as it is.
True.
Yeah.
It's goofy. So people kind of go like expecting the levels of cool that Cowboy Bebop get. I mean, Cowboy Bebop's also goofy, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's very different. It's very,
Yeah. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
And I think people need to get over CGI. It's here to stay. Like it's a workflow thing. It's much quicker.
As long as it gets better.
Pencil and paper and people breaking their wrists and arms and working 24 hours a day for no money. Like
totally. I mean, obviously that's
just gonna happen more and more.
But I do think that on a completely selfish level, the reason I gravitated towards anime is because I like that art style more.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same with me. And like, I don't love the animation of Pixar. Like, I'd rather watch the old Disney films. Like, like that's
Cinderella
just
and stuff.
that's my favorite Cinderella.
Lion King, obviously.
Cinderella.
I don't know. It's the first thing that came to my head.
Cinderella.
Everyone's favorite Disney film.
Seminal Disney classic, Cinderella.
Sam's favorite. What?
Left of center.
Yeah, like that kind of thing.
The
like,
Lion King, the Beauty and the Beast. You know, there were some CG elements in that, weren't there?
Of course,
there are.
Like,
that entire ballroom scene is
CG.
Yeah, it's pretty lit.
2D at the front. You know, like.
But I mean, I think I just like the anime style more than I like the CG style.
Yes.
But fucking, I'll if it's a good show, I'll watch it.
Yeah,
Planet Lustrous is great.
Yeah.
This is obviously it's a remake. We've had a few remakes in the past. Would you guys want anything else to be done, remade in this style or
in this style?
I always said Trigun.
Yeah, well, you got your wish.
Got my wish, but I ruined it for everyone.
You called Studio Orange.
I went, you know what you should do? I had a good idea for you. They're going to love it. No, I think, that's a tough one because I want Ouran High School Host Club to be remade.
What?
Oh, wow.
That was a left of center response.
That's one of my favorite shows growing
CG?
up. Yeah. CG.
The pure CG version.
A reimagining CG of Ouran High School Host Club.
Yeah.
I would.
Oh, look at these locks.
Wow, that could be weird.
It's so 3D right now.
Wow.
What about you, sir?
Oh, man. I mean, I'm already getting a remake of Legend of the Galactic Heroes. That's happening as we speak.
They doing another one?
You know, it's being done. It's already coming out. Die New Thief, I think it's called. I've only watched a couple of episodes because, again, it's a lot more CG as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but again, sometimes with these things, I'm like, don't need a remake. You know what I mean? Like,
it's going to happen. Though. Like,
yeah, but I mean,
we're in old media, we're riding nostalgia waves.
Yeah.
Anime probably doesn't do as much as other ones.
No, not like the West does, not Hollywood.
Oh, we're going to get like a Naruto remake.
Actually, Bleach isn't a remake, but it's a
continuation
in modern times compared to the old school. Would I like to see Naruto done in that fashion?
Absolutely.
Fuck yeah, I would. Absolutely.
It's like Hunter x Hunter. They did that.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, honestly, I think there's massive scope for these sorts of remakes and these redos, but of course, you're always going to run into criticism and controversy because people's expectations are high, and when they're not met, they get upset. And it's like, it's fair enough. It's perfectly human response, right? But speaking of, this isn't a remake. This is an adaptation, and this is an adaptation of a video game, and it's called Nier Automata. Or Automata. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that. I think it's Automata.
Automata?
Automata? Maybe it's Autonoma. Anyway, Nier. Let's just go with Nier. It's based on the action role-playing game Nier, which was released in 2017, developed by Platinum Games and published by Square Enix, who of course did Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, Star Ocean, Kingdom Hearts.
Star Ocean?
I love that series, man. Not quite on the same level as the other ones, but I love that shit. Square Enix has done everything.
I'm sorry, yeah, JRPGs are the best. We have an episode about this.
We did a full episode.
I gotta say, I'm playing Persona 4 at the moment, and everyone should play that fucking game. It is the best game ever made, and it's very...
Is that Golden?
Yeah, of course.
Mate, actually, Lockie, the person who was on our JRPG episode, bought me that game on Steam. Thanks, bro. Also bought the PC from which I'm playing it, so thank you, my brother. I'm wearing your shirt right now, for those who can see it. Represent.
Wow. Good for him.
Lockie, you're a good egg.
Bowing down to Big Easy over there.
Big GG.
Big GG Easy. But his hooks all over this place.
His fingers all over this podcast. No, check out our JRPG episode if you want. But this isn't technically a JRPG.
Sorry,
this is just an action role-playing game. But this series is being done by A1 Studios, who of course Sword Art Online, Magi, Seven Deadly Sins, unfortunately, Your Lie in April, Kaguya-sama, a very good studio and do some really, really great work. Oh, they also did 86, which this kind of reminds me of actually. And they're doing Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling studio. So like this is interesting. And
which just started back up again.
Oh really? From the manhwa. But yeah, the release of this anime corresponds to the 6th year anniversary of the game, which came out in 2017. So Set in the distant future of 5012, a little while ago, little while to go till we get there, but the Earth has been decimated by the aerial invasion of aliens and their machine life form creatures, which they created and sort of left behind. Now, the majority of human survivors have fled to the moon, and they've created android soldiers who they use to counterattack against the machine life forms. There's also a small disparate resistance of humans left on Earth who are in constant danger of being wiped out. The newest android soldiers developed by the moon colony are called Yorha, and they are basically, for the first time, able to strike back hard against, because the androids are savage. Like the main character, you probably all seen, the blindfold, the white hair. She just decimates these motherfuckers.
She's got a kite?
Not a kite, it's a big problem.
No kites. It's got maid uniforms, which we know.
Maid uniforms.
That's how you fight aliens.
Yeah, the writer, I'll get into the writer a bit later, is quite, the guy's a fascinating character. But basically they are now turning the tide of battle. They've been sent down to Earth to investigate the disappearance of one of the other Yorhos, and what they find is that maybe the machine life forms aren't all that they appear. So essentially...
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and what's interesting about this show is that it's very existential. The writer is called Yoko Taro, and Yoko Taro is a fascinating guy because he's quite famous for making very dark games. He started off in a different series called Drakengard, and then Nier has been a spin-off of that, and it's very, very dark and very existential themes about what is it to be human. He actually hates being interviewed and wears this crazy mask whenever he's interviewed, like a big Jack from Jack from Last Night, Night Before Christmas.
The Last Night.
The night before Christmas.
Yes, do I know who Jack Skellington is?
Yeah, so not exactly Jack Skellington, but Jack Skellington's style, huge silver, grinning, creepy ass mug. That's how he gets interviewed.
What?
So he's
he hates being interviewed.
So he's the dead mouse of JRPG writing.
Yeah, RPG writing. Yeah, he's a crazy dude. And writes this really dark stuff.
One.
So it's
should we
check it out? It's really cool. We should get him.
Could you imagine next episode
just sit here, masked up?
I was like,
no, he's famous for backward writing, where he starts at the end and works his way backwards. And he's also photo thinking is another thing he does, where he thinks of big moments which are peaks in the story, and then writes the links to them. That's how he sort of breaks down his narratives and
I think
writes.
that's how Sylvester Stallone writes.
Oh, wow.
I watched a video about this a few days ago.
Really?
It was I have a guy, and I go, oh, you got to go to the store. So I write, the guy goes to the store. And then he picks up a gun. And then he picks up a gun. That's
photo thinking, dude. But no, it's very interesting. So it's actually, also, by the way, not only does he wear a giant hat, one time he did an interview wearing a hand sock puppet.
Oh, so he's insane.
No, he's a crazy person.
He's just insane.
He's a totally wacky sort of guy, right? And so Nier is interesting because now one of the criticisms that is very highly regarded and people are loving it this season. But what do you think the controversies come from?
the maid outfits.
No, the anime community doesn't give a fuck about that.
Yeah, right.
Normal people might have a problem with that. The anime community is all for it.
That's the best part.
That's why it's so popular, Charlotte. Get with the fucking program.
Is it based on what happens in the game, or is
Very much, and they're also using the same soundtrack, which is famously awesome. No, it's the CG, of course. So
right.
there were some CG issues in the first episode where they're in these kind of mechy pilot things, and the CG was just dog shit. And of course that caused a whole bunch of people being like, oh, it's terrible. But outside of that, the animation looks fucking fantastic.
Yeah, right.
A lot of really existential questions about what it means to be human. The machine life forms are obviously made to kill humans, but then of course, without spoiling anything too much, it's only early days in the show anyway. I haven't played the games. They are of course starting to become more and more human-like and starting to feel things and whatnot. And so that's kind of, that's obviously well-trodden ground in storytelling, but I just think it's a really fascinating show. It looks fantastic. The main characters, 2B and 9S, are really cool. They've got an interesting relationship because every time they go out and fight, the androids are very human-like, but if they die, they get their minds wiped and then they start again. So it's this endless battle of battling for humanity, kind of this Sisyphean type thing where they just keep running in circles. So it's actually quite a cool, interesting show. I'm really enjoying it. So and the game is highly revered too. People love the game. So yeah, I think it's really, really cool. Nier Automata or Automata.
Never played the game.
Yeah, no, I don't
check out
know.
the
What
series.
console?
It was on PS3, I think, 2017.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it was PS3.
PS4.
Maybe four. Sorry,
Yeah.
4. We've got 5 now. Jesus Christ. Yeah, PS4.
When will the madness stop?
I was also on. It's also on PC. I think it was a cross-platform release, but it's really, really cool. So Nier Automata, whatever. Go check it out. Go check out Nier. It's really, really cool. What else are you watching, Gray?
I'm also going to talk about another CGI show.
Mm-hmm.
It is called Kaina of the Great Snow Sea.
Okay.
I'll read you the synopsis because it's this does it better than I would. A world blanketed in an endless and ever-growing ocean of snow. The people eke out a living huddled around the roots of enormous trees dotted around the surface of the world, or on a high in the canopies of these trees, which spread over the planet's atmosphere. A chance meeting between Kaina, a youth from the canopy, and Lilith, a young woman from the surface, sets off a chain of events that will change the fate of the world.
Okay.
So the world is frozen, and there's these giant trees dotted around the world, and they form like this crystal canopy around the world. You're introduced to the male protagonist. He's hunting on top of these things. There's like these holes open up, and these giant bugs sort of feed on the opening.
Yep.
And then you see him go back to his little tree hut people where there's like old people and they have like parking signs and they're like, learning the language of the world from like parking signs going, oh, well, people, they parked here. And he's like, what does parking mean? Like, I don't fucking know. And then you sort of like flip back in between her and the girl on the surface. Don't know much about them. They're sort of like living on boats, it looks like. So that the surface is not like snow, it's more like a sea. She gets in a balloon and they meet in the sky.
Okay.
That's the first episode.
Cool.
Any good?
Yeah. It's an it's definitely not an isekai, which is good.
You sure it's not a snow isekai? There's been isekai in the snow
Well,
world?
to be fair, maybe. Maybe, because she does go to the canopy, which would definitely class as another world.
Well, the isekai we never knew we needed and didn't know. They snuck it in there on you.
But the main, I think, thrust of the show is like the canopy is actually dying. Like this great sort of bubble around the world is dying off. So there's like, he's sort of the youngest member of this dying tribe, where there used to be many tribes that travel between the trees and trade and stuff, but no one seems to know what has happened to the other tribes.
Right.
And you don't really have a
Gurren Lagann.
Kind of, yeah.
Vibes.
And he's like, looks down at the surface and wonders what's happening on down there and vice versa. So, yeah, the first episode doesn't give you a whole lot of information. Frozen world, canopy world, trees are dying. And it's CGI'd at the max. So.
Who is it? Which studio?
It is made by Polygon Pictures.
Okay.
Who made Ajin.
Oh, Ajin. Yeah.
Sorry, Arjun. They also did all those Godzilla Netflix shows.
Those guys. Yeah.
Ultraman.
Okay.
I think they're a Japanese studio, but I think they do a lot of American stuff.
Right.
They do a lot of like heavy lifting for Disney, like Clone Wars and stuff like that.
Well,
and
that's
anything
really
that's
good,
sort of heavier CGI stuff at a TV level is what they seem to do. So
okay, that's cool.
CGI is not bad.
Yep.
Like I think the ships look good. The canopy looks really nice. Giant flying insects are always an issue, I think. In CGI, especially in anime.
Yep, they love that.
But it's another CGI show.
A lot of CGI this season, isn't there? It's the future, 2023, the year of CGI.
It's not the future,
apparently.
it's the now.
It's the now, the present.
It's happening. It's not bad. I'm gonna give it a few more episodes because I like an anime that gives you a new world.
Yeah.
Not just an isekai Germanic world.
Medieval.
Yeah, so I'd give it a couple of episodes.
Okay, cool. Charlie, what else are you watching?
All right. So because I'm really predictable, I was like, I'm not going to watch Tomo-chan as a girl because I was like, this looks like it's going to be problematic. And then 5 seconds later, I was like, this is my favorite show. I know, like it's not that problematic, just for the record, but it's I would say it's this kind of season's answer to Kaguya.
Okay.
That's the vibe.
Really? Is that funny?
Yeah, it's funny.
Really?
It's very funny. But one thing I'll say is, so the whole premise is Tomo-chan is this like tomboy, basically, and she is in love with her neighbor who has been her childhood best friend, who is a cool guy, and they do karate together. Her dad owns like a dojo, and she's very like, she's very strong and she beats up everyone. And she's just a classic anime tomboy kind of vibe.
Yep.
But she's got a crush on her neighbor, who's her best friend, and he just cannot see her. Like it's like he's genuinely perplexed that she's a girl. I can't see her in that way. It's the whole thing is her trying to like be more feminine, but like but she's like terrible at it. And it's kind of like, you know, I guess I hope that the whole kind of show eventually, the manga's super popular. Like people are obsessed with it.
Yeah.
I think that my worry is that it's like a one joke premise where it's like she's not good at being a girl, and I'm like, you know, that gender binary kind of stuff is not particularly interesting to me. But this show has got really good cast of characters, and I actually like. It's not entirely like that. It's kind of there's actually more heart to it, and it's kind of like Kaguya-sama. It's not as funny, but it has definitely got that kind of screwball sort of. There's like a couple of unhinged side characters that are great value.
Like Chica, sort of.
There's a character who is very much like Chica, and I'm into. That's very funny, and like I think that. It's got a lot of heart and it's fine and it's well done. I can see why it's super popular. And yes, I will be watching it. So there you go. I'm in. I'd say if you like Kaguya, if you like that kind of stuff, then absolutely jump in there.
Horimiya.
Yeah, Horimiya is more slice of life. This is more ridiculous.
Okay, so it's full comedy.
But it's not as, I wouldn't say it's full comedy like Kaguya. It's like sort of a mix. Okay. Horimiya might be a better example actually now I'm thinking about it. But yeah, it's good. Slice of life, high schoolers. But it's a seinen, so it's got that adult kind of humor to it. So it's Kaguya. Totally. So I think like it's good. I recommend it for sure. Okay. I also watched another like Josei one that was called The Ice Guy and His Cool Female Colleague. And look, I know it sounds.
It's called the one about the supermarket.
No, it's called The Ice Guy and his cool female colleague.
Is it a light novel? It has to be a light novel with a title.
No, it's a manga. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a Josei manga and it's just adorable and it's set in an office, so it's adults. It's a romance between adults. That's rare.
Wow.
It's rare in
Not
anime.
Rare
and
very, very welcome, to be honest. Like as as much as I joke about, like I really prefer watching things with adult characters than high schoolers. I don't really relate to Japanese high school students. Shockingly, I know. I'm like, wow. But I think that
Just
this
like
is
me.
I'm exactly like that. No, but this, you know, they're office workers, and the whole premise is that it's a world where like people are descendants from spirits, and it's fine. Like so, like there's some people are just like descendant of like fox spirit or something like that. So she has like a fox tail and fox ears or whatever. The main character is just a descendant of a human, but there's two protagonists. The guy, the cool guy. He's a descendant from like a snow witch, I want to say, an ice witch. So here's this thing where if his emotions get out of control, they will just start like snowstorming around him and it will just freeze things. And he like gets nervous and he's very sweet. But people think that he's ice cold because he literally has Arctic episodes but he actually has like a heart of gold and he like really likes cats, but he can't pat them because he's worried that he's so happy when he sees them that he'll like freeze it. So you can't pat. You love it. Okay, see, I mean, like you're in.
You have me
there
was a cat. He loves cats. Yeah, that's it. I'm in.
Yeah. Look, I think it's cute and very nice and very slice of lifey, but with snowstorms.
Snow and CGI seems to be the theme
ice
of this
stuff.
season.
Yeah. But I'll keep watching. I wouldn't say it was thrilling, but I just think it's nice. Like the last time there was like an office romance I watched was that movie, that one called Watakai, which is about like two nerds, two fucking nerds finding love. And I went, you don't deserve it. No, I'm kidding. No, it was about people like I did relate to this one where they were like anime nerds who found love in the office together. So
they are just like me.
I'm just like that. But this is it's good. It's nice to see an adult relationship, and it seems to be like not super problematic at all. In fact, it's very nice
anime. Wow,
beautifully paced. I've watched 2 episodes, so I could take a terrible turn next week. But I think it's just nice to have adult characters, and I think that seeing that slice of life in an adult setting is like an office is interesting.
It's great.
I read a lot of like manhwa, which is South Korean, webtoons and stuff like that, and a lot of those are set in offices and things like this. It's nice to kind of see it coming to anime and manga.
Well, it's such a major part of adult Japanese life, you know, the salary man as they're referred to in Japan, and just like that, you know, the crazy work culture. And so it does make sense to set something in an office. I think that's actually really interesting. I'm surprised there isn't more of it, to be honest, considering how much, I mean, manga and anime are traditionally a very big escape for these said salarymen and women who end up working in.
I guess that's what you don't want to read though. At the end,
I was
of the day,
gonna say.
Maybe answer my own question there.
Yeah,
That's why most
better
of
get
those
those
start
Excel
with
spreadsheets in, dude. Like,
Yeah. Most of those guys, like those things set in the office are like, then he gets hit by a truck and gets transported to another world. Like,
No, okay. All right, so while I'm on a video game tear and while I've been talking about, well, I'm wearing this shirt, but we talked about JRPGs, let's talk about a JRPG adaptation which is going on this season. The Legend of Heroes Trials of Cold Steel Northern War. It's not a light novel with that title like that.
I think I saw the cover for this, and I was like, that looks terrible.
The Legend of Heroes are excellent games, and I haven't played this one. I haven't played Trials of Cold Steel. I have played one of the Trials in the Sky. So Legend of Heroes is a series of JRPGs developed by Nihon Falcon, who we mentioned in the JRPG episode. They made Dragon Slayer, all the Legends of Heroes, and Trials series, as well as the YS series. So lots of big pedigree here. They were credited with laying the foundations of the modern action RPG and JRPG genres, especially with Dragon Slayer in the 80s. That was like a big deal. First starting as a part of said Dragon Slayer series, the Legend of Heroes series has evolved into a decade-spanning, interconnected series with over 14 entries. So Trials of Cold Steel is a trilogy of games like Trials in the Sky, the first of which I played. And for Cold Steel, actually follows chronologically on from Trials in the Sky. Now, the anime weirdly takes place in the year-long gap between Trials of Cold Steel 2 and Trials of Cold Steel 3. So I have no fucking clue what's going on in this adaptation. I'm like, what a strange choice.
Is this the first show they've made off of this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But
So they just jumped in.
Well, so because there is a big time gap between the two games. I think all those the Trials of Cold Steel nerds like, yes, finally I get to fill in those gaps. And I'm just like, who are these people?
That's like making that Clone Wars animated TV show, but not making the other Star Wars movies. And people just be like, what the fuck? Who's this green guy? Like nothing.
What's a Skywalker?
Yeah.
It's like,
well, it's like when
The fuck's an aluminum falcon?
I remember Persona 5, Persona standalone stories and stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember the first time that you were like, I'm going to watch Persona 5, the anime. And then you messaged me like, what just happened? Like, what the hell was that? That was a terrible adaptation.
That was bad.
Like, it was just so weird and rushed and just like assumed that you played the game. So.
Yeah. Well, this is interesting because it doesn't necessarily assume that you played the game per se. Like, it does seem to hold your hand relatively through it. Again, it's not a remake of one of the game storylines. It's set in between the two. It depicts a conflict between the Erebonian Empire and the Northumbrian state. Now, it follows Lavian Winslet, who was a girl born in Northumbria, which is a poor and rather sort of desolate, snowy country. We're on the snow again, people.
And it's a winter season, right?
It's a winter season, and Japan's delivering on that theme. So thank you, Japan. For running themes. So she enlisted in the Northern Jaegers, who are the largest mercenary corps on the continent, to protect her hometown and to forge her own reputation, separate from her late grandfather, Vlad, who was one of said legendary heroes of the North, but has since been disgraced after betraying his own country. Well, at least that's what we believe. So after a training incident, Lavian is placed in a small platoon to infiltrate Erebonia and gather information on the Imperial hero, who possesses a significant threat to the Northumbrian state if war is to break out, which it looks like it inevitably will. So it's kind of interesting. It's made by Tatsunoko Productions, who have been around since the 60s. And some of their recent works, including Masaki Yuasa's Ping Pong. They did Psycho-Pass Season 2, the worst one, but anyway. And they also have done a lot of Transformers too.
Wow.
All right.
A lot of Transformers shows, so the modern ones, like the more recent ones. So interesting. I wanted this to be good because I really like Trials in the Sky. Obviously, I love JRPGs. It's a great legendary JRPG series. But I'm watching this, I'm like, even without the assumed knowledge and being sort of semi out of context, I don't know about the games, and I know very little about the world. It's just not very good. If the story's bad, just the narrative jumps are bad.
How's the CGI?
There's very little CGI, in fairness.
I've got 3 for 3. Damn.
But it's just not. It's not good. I'm not going to recommend it to anyone. I'm dropping.
It sounds dense as well.
There is, but again, it's like they kind of don't even get into the density of it. It's just a bit like, whoa, it's some goofy shit. And I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Look, I'm not going to suggest it. It's a shame because I really wanted a JRPG adaptation to be good. Unfortunately, I just don't think it is. Again, it's only been 3 episodes, so like, maybe it gets better, but at this point, I'm too busy. I'm going to drop it. So, hey, look, if you're a Trials of Cold Steel fan, Legend of Heroes fan, check it out. Maybe you'll get a lot more out of it than I did because you actually know what the fuck is going on. But like for me, it's like not only do I not know what's going on, I don't care. And like that's just a problem with the actual production itself, you know.
There's just too many shows airing at the moment. Like, you know, you gotta be harsh.
Yeah. So I guess we'll do some like roundtable-ish stuff. I mean, obviously you two aren't up to date with Vinland Saga, are you? Shame brought to this podcast. So basically Vinland Saga is
too
of
busy
course
watching Iceman.
Yeah, Iceman.
His cool female
you guys
colleagues.
are just stuck in the tundra, whereas
Sick.
I'm stuck in Viking times. Look, Vinland Saga is obviously the biggest hit of this season. Everyone's loving it. It's like on top of all the Reddit threads. Mal, everyone's just like, this is obviously a heavily revered manga, of course, and we're in a very interesting phase because the whole first season of Vinland Saga, Viking show. Long story short, we've talked about it on the podcast before. We've actually got a video online on YouTube. You can check it out as well if you want to look. But basically, it's about the legendary hero Thors, who's like one of the great Viking warriors, just decides that it's not longer for him. So he just fucks off to Iceland and tries to live a very casual life. He raises a family, whatever. He's then dragged back into the game, like, oh, you son of a bitch, I'm in, kind of thing. But he's forced to do it. And basically he's forced into going back into the life where it's actually a trap and he is killed. This isn't a big spoiler, happens very early. And then his son, Thorfinn, who watches it happen, ends up going with his father's killer and traveling with him for the whole first season. Now, without spoiling what happened in the first season, second season, he is now a slave living on a farm doing farm work. And everyone calls it Farmland Saga, which is all the manga readers. And like what's quite interesting is that it is slow. And you're expecting big Viking battles and like just the show subverts your expectation all the time because it's quite meditative. Also, a savage look into European history because, like, you know, it's funny. Like as Australians, we're always like, "You're from there," but you know, everyone's like, "Oh, you know, Europe, the height of culture in the world." It's like you read that history, savagery, pure savagery, man, and the Vikings, and like, oh my god, it is brutal. And like this show really, it's not gratuitous. There are no kite murders, unfortunately, one of the big flaws. It's like, it's such a great big seinen show. So much aimed at older people.
Similar to Tomo-chan as well.
Tomo-chan, like Kaguya-sama.
Exactly like that.
But no, I just think, and this second season is like, for me, it is so beautiful. I think it's so extraordinary. It is it's quite bleak, but it is a really intense look at, it's a real character study of Thorfinn, the main character. I just think it's absolutely wonderful. I could not suggest it more if I tried. It's a great gateway show because obviously it's a, you know, Mokoko Seke in respect to the fact that they're all Europeans. It's European history.
Yeah, I was going to say
influence,
it's,
you know, like
absolutely one for non-anime fans as well.
Yeah, and it's better than that dog shit show Vikings. Yeah, I said it. So yeah, it's Vinland Saga.
Did you watch that show?
I hated it. I did the first two seasons and I was like, why do I hate myself so much? Why am I watching this? Hated it. But whereas Vinland Saga, I absolutely love. I just think it's the big hitter. You all need to catch up. You're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, season 1 was amazing.
It's just extraordinary. You've watched a fair bit though, right?
Yeah, I'm nearly done with season 1.
Yeah.
I was wanting to catch up before watching season 2, and like it was a great show. It really blew my socks off.
Yeah, you're a fan, aren't you, Greg?
Oh, 100%. I'm just not up to where you are.
Yeah,
like I watched the first episode
of season 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm just 3 behind.
2.
Oh, you're acting as though.
Oh, I thought you were like miles behind.
Yeah, you're like you've bought shame. You're like, I just need to catch up.
You should still be
on the table or something. I'm like 3 behind. Yeah,
all right.
It's a great series.
Still
You're right. Yeah,
it's fantastic.
What kind of farm work?
What kind? Well, actually, also shows you that like like when you look back on like history, you're like, oh shit, that's right, no machines. Literally, like the slave and Thorfinn's task, like it flips in the first episode. It flips to a different character as well, which is quite interesting. Who ends up working on the same farm with Thorfinn, and basically it's just like, oh, clear these woods, 2 of you, and you're like, what, dude? Like, I have once, but I haven't worked on farms. Like my partner's family have like a small property, 5 acres and whatever. I once took an axe to a tree. It is the most.
Did you chop it down?
Break? Hell no, dude. It is so brutal, dude. Like chopping trees, man. Even just chopping wood, man. It's gnarly. Like farm work versus gym work. Farm strong, gym strong. Very different kettle of fish.
Yeah, of course. That's why we invented the chainsaw.
Yeah, but the thing's great. But
but could
no chainsaws back then.
Could Thorfinn like bench, blah, blah.
Nah, I've got a shoot.
Yeah. Like you cut a tree down.
A whole village.
Could he
can't
curl?
change nothing.
I don't think so.
Little bitch. But yeah, no, it's fucking incredible. Absolutely love it. What else is anyone watching? Anything else that's worth talking about? You're going through your mail right now, Igor.
I'm just going through what's out. I'm kind of intrigued by High Card.
What's that?
Basically, gangs vying for power over this magical deck of cards. That each card has a different ability, and gang war, but with magical cards and stuff.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Gang War.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Gang Wars.
But I'm sure,
I'm
sure it's like the creator of like Ghost in the Shell or something like
What?
Reddit or something. I'm just trying to remember who
I'm
made
watching
it.
this.
Oh my God.
Something
What
like,
This sounds like the best. This sounds like the best thing I've ever heard of.
I'm just trying to remember. Like, I'm sure it's like someone. I can't remember. Like,
Right.
go look it up, High Card, and then see what the guy created because it's something like Ghost in the Shell or something like this.
Jesus.
Now he's got this wild card
Card game
gangster show.
Amazing.
That's what I've been looking for. I just can't remember who did it. But,
Yeah, I'm definitely looking that up. What was that called again?
High Card.
High Card.
Um,
Okay, that's one for.
And there's like we're in sequels as well. So
Yeah,
Lots of
Misfit of
sequels.
Demon
Misfit of
Academy.
Demon
yeah.
Academy. Big
Which is-
Power Fantasy. It's dumb. It's silly.
It's dumb.
Right?
It's
You've
dumb.
watched it, right?
I watched the majority of the thing,
Yeah.
but you are watching it for those moments where he just kills a man with his heartbeat. Like, and then everything else you can just tune out, and then the next thing he's like eating a castle.
Yeah, like throws
He
a castle.
literally throws a castle at someone, and then goes back to high school. Like, yeah, all right,
It's ridiculous.
it's just big dumb. Yeah,
We've got Bungo Stray Dogs season 4.
That's right.
Hugely popular show that I
is.
did watch, and I cannot remember a single thing about it. Like, I watched 2 seasons of that show.
Really?
Because there's a lot of hot anime boys in it. That's part of the appeal.
What's the guy's name?
Dazo?
Dazo, yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. They're like
Yeah.
detectives,
Yeah,
Are
but with
they?
superpowers.
but they're like based
Yeah.
off literary characters.
Yeah.
So they're all kind of like, anyway, it's a whack show, but people fucking love
Yeah, it's
it.
very
And I
popular.
actually need to, I reckon if I watch one more episode, I'll be like, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
I've,
right.
I've never gotten into it. Tokyo Revengers is back for all of our sins. That shows. Look, this whole podcast, our whole mission statement is positivity. It's all about getting people in and not judging opinions. But Tokyo Revengers fucking sucks. I'm sorry. It's a terrible show. It is so badly written. It makes no sense. The lead character is terrible. It's such fertile ground for drama. We got fucking gangs and, gang warfare, like Yakuza stuff. I just watched Tokyo Vice on, which is a really good show, by the way.
Yeah.
Really, really cool, based on novels. The writer, it's himself in the show. It's quite, well, not the actual writer himself, but he wrote himself as a character. Fascinating show. Tokyo Revengers is just terrible. And it's a time travel thing, and every time the lead character goes back in time, it's like, oh my God, everything's different. It's like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? It's like the 5th time you've gone back in time. Yes, things are different. Are you serious? It's just, I don't know. I hate it so much. And I'm still watching it because I like to hate watch things. And I guess I just looked at it and being like, how can this show get any worse? It was the 2nd biggest selling manga of 2022.
I'm going to read the manga.
People love it.
I'm gonna read it.
Apparently the ending sucks when, and I know a lot of fans really upset.
Man,
the beginning and the middle suck too. Like, what were you doing? Anyway,
Most manga endings suck anyway. Like,
yeah, but it's the whole show stinks, man. I know I should be more critical and I should try and actually analyze. I'm not going to waste my time or yours. Tokyo Revengers, give it a miss. It's trash. And I'm going to keep watching it just when I really want to, hate myself and be like, God, I hate this show.
Go watch High Card. Stop watching this.
Actually, you're right. High Card. It's like that with cards.
Yeah.
Magic
Go watch High Card.
cards.
Gangster magic cards.
I'm just realizing I haven't watched the show that I wanted to watch, which is Buddy Daddies. which is
What's
basically
Buddy Daddies about?
it's basically Spy Family, but with 2 guys.
Oh, I've seen this.
Oh, that's
I've seen
much
this.
less
I've
bad
seen
than
the
I
trailer
thought.
for this.
Yeah, people love it.
Okay.
That's all I have to say. But I was looking at this and I was like, fuck, I was meant to watch Buddy Daddies. And like
That's a terrible name.
Yeah, when you said it, I was like, oh, here we go. Here it comes.
Buddy Daddies.
why do you think I was like, I'm watching that? Don't know what it is. But then I've seen a lot of people posting about it, and apparently it's nice and funny
cool.
and good, and there's good character designs, and Buddy Daddies.
Buddy
Don't know
Daddies
anything
for the
about
win.
it, but really hooks you with the title.
There's a ninja Harry Potter show.
What?
Not a Harry Potter show, but
No, but is it like, that sounds great.
It's like an academy that you go to learn to be a ninja rather than.
Why are we watching that right now? We really need to up our game. I feel like I got distracted by the big titles, like
There's so much
like
this year,
Iceman. It is
Yeah, the seminal title, the Iceman and his cool friend.
Yeah. Doesn't want to freeze a cat.
Vinland Saga, cat freezing, like, but in a
Buddy
nice
Daddies.
way, not in a bad way.
nice way. By Daddies.
We're so
chaos.
we're such
There's a-
normies.
there is a
We're missing,
We are
lot.
such normies.
we're missing all the cool shit.
I find it funny. I was looking at the Crunchyroll nominations.
Yeah.
Oh, I did my votes. I did
Me
my
too.
votes, yeah.
Yeah, because I was like,
summer
it-
for anime of the year, controversial.
I guess also because it took me a while to realize that obviously last season didn't count because I was like, where is all the good shows? Like, where's Bleach and
Yeah.
where's Chainsaw Man and stuff? And I was like, oh, okay. But I gotta say, like, some of the choices, I was like, man, we're normies. Like, some of this stuff,
100%.
I was like, I gotta get deeper and down. No, not really. I watch a lot of anime. I do. I just like to talk about. My taste. I like things that are good.
What I hate about
But yeah,
what really annoys me about those Crunchyroll Anime Awards, when you do the vote thing and it gives you like the little video, that should be like a recap of what's nominated. It shouldn't be just the options that are an inch below.
Yeah, that's true.
Because like when it's like, oh, best music group, I'm like, oh, I don't remember that one. Let's watch the video and remember. No, it's just like, oh, Kaguya-sama. It annoys the shit
I
out of
can
me.
read that.
Just give me a proper recap.
Yeah.
Helps me vote.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Anyway,
I also made a mistake with one of my votes, and you can't undo a vote.
What was it?
Oh, really?
Well, because there was best girl,
Who'd you vote for?
and then there was like character that must be protected at all
Oh,
costs.
yeah.
Bodgy, obviously.
And I kind of like I voted for Anya for best girl, and then I was like, oh no, she should win the other category. But
Yeah.
then I saw Bodgy, and I went, Bodgy must be
Bodgy.
protected
Yeah,
at all.
that's true.
So I don't know. But,
That's fine. I wouldn't take that back.
I'm pretty upset about it actually. I don't know. I was like, why did I vote Anya? She kind of got annoying by the end.
I actually, once I started focusing too much on Anya, I actually got pretty bored of
Yeah,
stuff.
she's a great side
She's
character.
a perfect side character, but like as a lead, I'm like, no, you're actually kind of annoying.
I'm going to be pretty keen to talk about this when the awards are announced and then compare it to our own awards that we gave
Yeah,
out.
we'll definitely do
but
a video
all of our
of that.
stuff is like we got
Yeah.
Mob Psycho and stuff like that aren't on the list. So,
Oh, because it was less. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. We did the actual physical year.
but it is interesting.
Yeah.
It'll be fascinating
True.
to see. It'll be fascinating. Well, yeah. Anyway, that is currently the winter 2023 season. New season, new year of anime, and obviously, as you said, there's a lot going on. A lot of mid stuff and a couple of top tiers at the top there. But obviously, Vinland Saga being the main one. A lot of returning shows. We've got Bungo Stray Dogs. We've obviously got My Hero Academia is still going.
Misfit.
Blue Lock, Misfit of the Demon King Academy. Blue Lock still going, which I'm absolutely frothing on.
Yeah, I'm enjoying Blue
Dude,
Lock
Blue
heaps
Lock's
actually.
so
Hey.
fucking good, dude. I love it. So it's like I'm not even ashamed about it. I'm just like,
Should we get some shirts?
I love Blue
Should we get
Lock.
some kits or something? Like, just sit here fully kitted out?
Honestly, so that's great. A lot of returns.
Who's the best character in Blue Lock?
Or Bachira,
Which
Yeah.
one's that?
the sleepy one.
Oh
Charlie.
yeah, of course. I was
Yeah.
I don't know their names. If they're
Bachira's
sleepy,
great.
they're sleepy.
Shigure's pretty cool too. The long redhead guy, the really fast one. He's pretty cool. Nagi's great. Again, badass whitehead character,
Yeah.
of which they are. They always are. If you have white hair in anime, you're basically a certified badass. It's like
Yeah,
Is this the guy who runs the whole operation?
Oh, what's his
Ego.
name? Ego.
Ego. Yeah, I like Ego.
I like his soccer ball bolero thing.
yeah.
That's the weirdest show ever. I
Dude,
love
it's the
it.
dumbest, weirdest. I guess doing everything that anime should. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, Blue Lock. We can't be more effusive about Blue Lock if we tried.
I'm gonna watch Revenger. I'm excited.
Revenge is great. It's fun. Oh,
Even
not
if
great,
you
it's
just-
not
give me ridiculous. Like this is why we're here.
bad. Yeah, dude. Revenge is underrated. I actually think people are sleeping on it. I think it's really fun. I mean, I wonder how it would probably lose steam like a lot of anime originals do. But Ken Urobuchi writing it, maybe not. So
Can't
yeah.
wait to see the next weird ass kill.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's quite violent too. Like got ninja scrolly in that respect. Like quite
Yeah.
gratuitous, the violence. Not overtly bad, but it's like sometimes like, oh, geez, that was pretty rough.
My man was killed by a kite.
Yeah.
Like,
That was I was like, oh,
I'll never look at a kite the same way.
Beautiful childhood memory destroyed.
decimated that Mary Poppins song.
Yeah, I know. Can
I see
never
a
listen to that.
If I see a child running on a beach with a kite, I might have some sort of Vietnam flashback. It's just,
Look, thanks again. Look, great year. Welcome
Yeah.
to the new year of anime, new season. Lots of if you like any of those, tell us what you're watching. Hit us up in the comments on whatever platform you're watching on. You can, of course, find us always at www.gatewaytoanime.com, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Of course, we'd love to thank our patrons. www.patreon.com/gatewaytoanime if you want to help us out. Massive help to us. Obviously, we're a small operation and your help means so much to us. And thank you very much. So, honestly, guys, we'll catch you all for the next one, but enjoy.
Bye.
Tell us what you're watching.